Hey everybody, it's Steve. Welcome to the Little Wood Shop, and this is part 2 of our beautiful garden bench. Now, to save as much time, again, as I possibly can on this, I'm going to just briefly overview the same steps that went in to our bench seat, the actual top, is going to be applied to our legs. Alright? Now, hold on one second. Oh, I need caffeine this morning. Thank you. Alright, what I've done, and we'll get to the pieces here in a second. We've got our, I had told you that on the legs themselves, I was going to put all red outside. Well, I've changed my mind since. I'm going to show you why. Basically, all I've done is I've blocked it in place. I'm going to find dead center. You can go corner to corner. X marks the spot. My laser crosshair will go on the center. I will end up using my 1.5 inch spoiler board bit. Nothing, I don't have a bigger one only because of, budget related issues. So, granted I love a 3 or a 4 inch spoiler board bit for the machine, just currently right now we're not budgeted for one, so it is what it is. I'll secure this in with just some little self-tapping screws, one in each corner. We'll cut a pocketing tool path to the top of it. We're going to clear it just like we would our spoiler board. No more, no less. And I'm just going to take enough off of it to get everything level. Before I flip it, I'm going to switch over to my 1/4 inch end mill because we've made a few revisions. This is only going to require 2 bits. It's going to require the spoiler board bit and a 1/4 inch end mill. That's it. Okay? Now, after I've done my bit change, I'm going to cut my pocket. Now, this is basically the leg. This is the back side. This is our pocket that we put in because this is going to be the support that's going to go from each side of the leg to each side of the leg. I hope you can see that all right. And that is, literally, that is that. Now, the reason I didn't leave the all red on the exterior is because I have this beautiful white stripe. I mean, this is a really beautiful leg. Granted, I've got a knot in here the size of, size of the Grand Canyon, but we'll get some fill in there and we'll color match it up the best we can. So, between the pocket in the back where the 2x4 piece of Douglas fir will go, our hole, we'll put a pilot in there. The hardware we'll discuss in the assembly end of this video. I'm not going to try to keep you that long. Our bench, we had shown you the bench, I believe, in part 1 of the video. This is our beautiful, beautiful bench. We've got this Douglas fir running down the middle with the ambers and the orangish red with a nice white stripe on the outside. Now I have since sanded this up. She's the dimension 16 by 46. This is definitely big enough for two people to sit on by all means. On the back, I think I can set this down. Let me come over here. There we go. On the back, we have our dadoed slot. I'm sorry. We have our pocketed slot in the back on the underside of the seat. Your leg just fits right in. The other one will do the same. The 2x4 will go across. Like I said, we'll show this more and a little more in depth in the assembly video. And then we have our 3 holes on the top where after our screws go down through, we're going to put a hardwood dowel in. Or in my case, I'm going to use the dowel that I have, which is a dark poplar. So it will kind of offset the entire piece. The darks against the amber against the white. I think it's going to really be a beautiful piece when it's said and done. Now, I'm not going to keep all of you. I'm going to run the other leg out, and then what we're going to do is we'll shoot the last part of the video with the assembly, and that'll be about it. We are going to include a program, though, for the actual VCarve Pro software CAD program itself. I'll do a quick walkthrough, discuss how I programmed it so I don't leave anybody in the dark, but it's only two tools, spoiler board bit, and an end mill. That's it. I'm trying to keep this project as simple as possible. I also mentioned I'm trying to keep my woodworking group as well in the grand scheme of things. I have marked up all of the CAD programs. I am going to try to find a way to print out some type of a schematic with all the measurements and the centers, and I'm gonna try to do that so you can basically put a grid on your bench leg. You can follow along hopefully, and we'll try to cover that in the program as well, of the actual VCarve CAD software. Alright? I'm not going to keep you any longer than necessary. So the next part of this is going to be us putting this whole project together. So everybody hang on, I'll be back, and we'll try to keep this one short, alright? Thank you everyone so much. Hey everyone, we're back. Alright, on to the assembly. Well, all I've done, and we'll hold this up again. This is the underside of our seat. These are our two pocketed tool paths that our legs are going to fit into. On the top of this bench seat, we've got our three pocketed holes. The only thing I'm going to recommend is to take a cordless or any type of drill, drill a pilot down the centers all the way through. You can go roughly the same size as the shank on the screw itself, but nonetheless, I would just recommend that. It'll give you a nice straight profile with the screw going down in. Now, I have already fit one cross section in to the leg. On the program, on each side of the bench legs, it calls out for 2 holes. I told you I use what I have in store for hardware, and in this case, these are really, really overkill. These are a big 5-inch, what are these, RSS, oh god, no glasses, GRK fasteners. They're 4 inches, I'm sorry, 5/16. So they're overkill, but we had a whole box of them, so I took out 1 hole. But the program, in relation to the CNC project cost estimation, there's a total of 10 holes, alright? Drill your pilot in. Like I said, this one's already fastened, so I'm not going to have to fight putting this together. It'll fit in one end. We're going to drop the bench leg into the other pocket. I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to take my little impact, my little 12-volt DeWalt impact driver here. Make sure I'm screwing in the right direction. Okay. The one thing I did to make sure that my centerpiece was cut, you can eye it with a quick measurement. But I throw my big my big Swanson rather, I'm sorry, my big 12-inch speed square on each end. Yeah, we're spot on. We're good. Alright, so very carefully I'm going to tip this upside down so it doesn't fall apart like that. We're going to put it on the table. Same thing again. I would run your pilots, and if you want to go down to the leg a little bit, like I said, this hardware is overkill, but it's what I have. So that's why we're using it. And I apologize for the noise, but it is part of the assembly. Got just a couple more here. I think that's everything. Oh, we're missing one, by golly. Here we go. Now, this is going to be put outside. One of the things I can recommend, and you may want to glue it anyways. I use Titebond. Other people have different things that they like to use. I put a little type on in my pockets before I screwed everything together. Now, we had mentioned the plugs that go on the top. I did a profiling toolpath in the VCarve Pro software for a 1-inch dowel. Well, I happen to have a 1 1/4 inch curtain dowel on hand. So, again, to save my cost on these projects, I use what I have available in the shop, but in the blog itself, I've given you a detailed line-by-line breakdown of the materials needed, okay? With a link to go to where to find it, to find the materials. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way. Now, I'm not quite ready to fully close this bench up and glue it and seal it and all that, because chances are an engraving may go on it. I still don't know. Now, I did tell you that I took the bevel out, because I'm going to end up taking a handheld router, and I'll probably just put a little round over edge on this. No more, no less. But it saves an extra tool path, it saves a tool change, it saves time, and it's a lot easier to just take a handheld and go around this quickly and then sand it out with your orbital. Your plugs can be done on a compound miter saw, they can be done on a hand saw. In this case, I've got this little old benchtop Delta. Now, this is not the miter gauge that fits in the track, this is my table saw. The one thing I can say is this will work undoubtedly to cut these little cookie wafers down. I can go in and I can get a much better eyeball on my distance here and my thickness and what have you. If you don't have it, like I said, you can certainly use a hand saw. Once they come out, you're going to want to work them on a sander in case they're a little bit snug. You'll just be able to tap them in, and anything sticking up, just mill it off. Goodness, I need more caffeine. Just sand it off with a belt sander or an orbital with some good grit sandpaper. And once that's done, what did I figure in? A can of Minwax spar urethane for the outdoor sealant, which isn't going outside the shop. I think it was $10 for the can. Spray it on. You've got brushes in your shop, no doubt. You know the deal. It's just a quick, quaint, cute little outdoor garden bench that, like I said, my wife is going to probably swipe from me, but nonetheless, this was our free project to all of you. I hope everybody has enjoyed this. We were sitting on this in the blog for our Sunday evening blog, and you know, it's very comfortable. I'm a tall guy. I'm like 6'1", 6'2", so this is comfortable for me to get up and down off of, and you know, I hope you guys enjoy it. This is just my way of giving a little something back to my subscribers and my followers, and you know, we are trying to keep this quick. Now we've got one more video left for this bench. It was basically how we programmed it. I'm going to walk you through the steps. I also told you for our woodworking group who don't have a CNC machine, I would still build this the same way. You can find your centers where your legs are going to fall. You can mark it. You can use a spade bit to drill out your 1-inch diameter top. You can still put the legs on just like they are here. You're not going to have the pockets, but that's no big deal. If you wanted to do away with the cross section, you could cut a triangle that would fit up and under. A buddy of mine stopped by over the weekend. He saw this and he's like, you know what? If you offset this back a little bit more, this horizontal cross brace, he goes, you could probably put a shoe rack under here or something. I said, well, that's a good idea. I'll be sure to throw that out there. So now, as far as the legs go, I have to apologize. I did not have the time to mark up. I'm really burning the midnight oil here. I just didn't have enough time to mark up the 20 by 20 by 1.5 inch pieces that we did on the machine. So what I've done is, through the CAD software, I was able to render an image, and I basically made a schematic with all the measurements marked up on it, and I then converted it into a PDF, a portable document format, so anybody can open it. You don't have to have the CAD software specifically to open up the schematic, okay? I try to do the best I can for everybody here, guys, but I'm chewing at the bit with time, so. But, again, thank you everyone so much, and yeah, we'll see you soon coming up. Alrighty, bye-bye everyone.